I think the one of the things that did come up in this conversation already is just the long list of, I think you brought this up in the beginning, Absa, the long list of artists that are no longer with us or have removed themselves from freedom, right? We've got Pop Smoke, XXX, Juice World. I put Nipsey Hussle in there, Young Dolph I put in there. The Baby I put in there just off of self-sabotage. I feel like so he had a bright future if he just doesn't talk too much on stage.
I will down the hill that the baby was never good.
I mean, the Baby could rap. Now he maximized and he self-sabotaged. But then you got King Von right after that. Pooh Shiesty is arrested. Right. This is a generation. This is a generation of artists. To be honest, right. I mean, we're still talking about Drake and Kendrick and J. Cole and Tyler and Future. People who've been around for a very long time. This is the generation right in the middle. Right. These are the biggest artists that came after them. You could put Thug in there. He's facing a RICO trial right now. Like there is
Yeah, young boy.
you could put Young Boy the same way. Like these are the whole next wave. Whatever the future big three debate might be, has removed itself or life or circumstances removed them from the conversation. And two things stand out to me. One, if I am a label after, witnessing this, just the billions of streams alone, the hundreds of millions of dollars that's sitting there right there in that list, if not $1 billion on its own on that list. Yeah, it's time for a pivot. And I think we see investment into other genres. But, and this is the question here, are women now a safer bet? Is it actually better now to invest in women MCs? You don't have to worry about RICO
That's
trials?
funny. I never thought about that because the classic low-key misogynist excuse for not promoting and investing in women artists and rappers and artists in general was that they were too expensive up front because you had to pay for the looks and the backup dancers and da 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 da, which I'm sure there's a grain of truth to that. But I think we're darn near a good decade into women rappers, female rappers being the most, like I made a comment in a video and I was talking, I don't remember why I made that Busta Rhymes video. I dropped it like yesterday, but I wrote it like 3 weeks ago and I have no clue what the fuck is in that video now. But I know one part I was talking about commercials and I was talking about Playboy Carter. That's what it was. And I was
Right.
like,
Oh, that was a great point. Great
yeah,
point.
Playboy Cardi's such a big star. He's not in any commercials. And like, look at Busta Rhymes. Like, where are the rappers in commercials? And so in my comments was like, dude, Cardi B and Meg Thee Stallion are and everything. And I'm like, damn, they are because they're the biggest rap stars out right now. They're all women. Um,
Glorilla. She's on her
Glorilla and
way.
mega stars. There's something I probably don't want to broadcast too much within me that is frustrated at the absence of like the new hot male rappers. There's also something that loves seeing the ladies glow off, but I hadn't put two and two together as Justin was just saying it that the there's not, even though I think Foxy got Kim shot at a little a decade and a half ago, you're not worried about the same like standards of exploitation and commodification from the women. At least like there's some other exploitative stuff happening, but you're not worried
Right.
about them dying or going to jail off killing somebody. At worst, you get a credit card scam thing with JT off of City Girls. And damn, that just kind of blew my mind just now. I just sorry.
Yeah.
That's all I got to add with that.
Yeah. What do you think, bro?
There's a part of that, but I don't think the labels are so concerned with rappers going to jail or dying. No dead rappers get better
Mm.
promotion. Oh, those posthumous albums.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yep.
and look at rest in peace to Nipsey. I don't think it's a mistake or coincidence. We have not seen a Nipsey posthumous project because of what he stood on, what his family is deeply involved. What I believe is probably the deal that he struck with Atlantic going in. that you're just not going to exploit Nipsey Hussle. But we're on our like fourth Juice World posthumous album, and rest in peace to Juice. I did Juice's last interview before he passed away for Genius, and just to see how many posthumous albums come out, I'm just like, yo, who's signing off on these? And I hope, my hope is that it's helping his mom out and it's helping his family out. Like if there's a cash grab going on, I hope the family is benefiting. But I don't know. You know, the Pop Smoke posthumous album, that wasn't it. Like, but I hope the family got something. I don't know, but it's just funny to me, and I don't have the answer. But look at Nipsey. Nipsey's family will not let him be exploited like that, and God bless them for standing on that. But the basic point is yes, I think what FD and I think what Absa is saying is true, but I also believe in what Curtis is saying. These labels don't care. If so, it's not. I don't think it's because the women are a safer bet, because they'll just sign the next one up. Okay, King Von is dead. All right, we still got Dirk. All right, Dirk is dead. All right, who's up next? Who's going to tell the story? Who's going to continue?
Well, we are literally watching a shift in investment for one reason or another, right? I mean, we've already mentioned Latin music and Afro beats. We watch a lot of these contracts with people in the labels. A lot of these contracts are coming up, and people are shifting resources.
I think a lot of that is, if we being real, is you can't sell us bullshit. We know the prices. You like we're just putting
1 second
out
applause to
shitty
Jay-Z.
music, and the other fact is the women are putting out better music right now, and you know that a lot of this the records are just repetitive. It's the same shit over and over again. It's fucking boring. Like let's be real. That's why it's not charting. That's why it's not like who's doing something exciting.
Shout out to I'm sorry,
Kendrick. You know what I'm saying?
Shout out to Kendrick. Also, shout out to Tyler for this rollout he just did for Chromacopia.
Yes.
And it's funny because people were like, you know, they always start putting old clips, and somebody put a clip of him talking to Nardwar about how he thought it was disrespectful to drop music on Friday at midnight, which I've always thought. I didn't know he had said that, but like, you know, I just thought I was old and thought I was like just some old man shit. Like, I'm not listening to no new music on Friday at midnight. I'm usually asleep. And so like him treating it, and then like I know that started with Beyonce way back with like I've had to be like 2012 when she dropped that album Out of the Blue, and then that shifted the whole meta, and now it's like rappers just that like kind of piggybacking off Markman. The modern meta doesn't treat the music like a big deal. It's like, oh, new album now. It's like, word? Didn't you have a new album 2 weeks ago? You know what I'm saying? Like new Meg Thee Stallion album. This too from what's it called?
What did they do? Wasn't even a new album, Sig.
It was a reissue.
They put 16 songs on top of the 18 songs that she already had out and said here. Like we were supposed to get excited about that. Like come on, man. Like again, you can't sell us bullshit. We know the prices. And guess what? We're not even paying for it. It's a $9.99 subscription a month. $11.99 now, probably. Like people not even going to the store, but it's like, yo, I won't even subscribe to this bullshit. Like we gotta stop like Tyler Disrupted.
I think that that's an important point, because they are just gonna find another young Black man to take the spot of whoever the most recent out of commission is for whatever reason. I don't necessarily know that more money is coming to Black women and investing in Black women either, just because we may be a safer bet. I think it's also fair to say that there is, you know, sports and hip hop go together, and the WNBA killing the game right now. And a lot of those players, when you're talking about promos and who's on the commercials and they're like, we want glow. We want such and such. We actually don't want a man standing here with us. We want a woman's voice. So will that hopefully spurn in actual greater investment? I hope so. Will we continue to see Pop-Tarts? Yes, we will. But we will see depth as well, right? And I know we're not at this point yet, but one of the reasons why I think the big three conversation is ludicrous is because when anybody starts talking about, well, who's the best and who's hot right now, and over the past 5 years, I'm like, if you don't say Rhapsody's name and put some respect on it, what are we even talking about right now? What are we even talking about right now?
I'm a big Rhapsody fan, but Big Three, that's hard for me. That's hard
Well,
for me on
but
Rhapsody.
here's the thing.
Love
and it may
rap,
be
love it
hard
to
for you.
death. I'm from the Carolinas. She from the Carolinas.
That's fine. That's
Big
fine.
Three,
It may.
that's heavy for me though.
I get it though, but the big three, and I don't want to be the.
1 second to pause for Rhapsody.
I don't want to be the put women in the conversation because that's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is women aren't in the conversation at all. And if we were nurturing them in that way and looking at them in that way and putting the shine in on them in that way, I don't care if it's Meg, I don't care if it's Rhapsody, but when you want to talk about growth, commitment of an artist, unique voice, consistency, et cetera, there are women there that are just have qualities to be into or aspire to a big three. Right. But we don't see women that way in this space.
Can I piggyback this super quick? I'm sorry.
Y'all go.
What's about to happen with Doechii? Because I think if there's a lady that's gonna penetrate the big three conversation, it'll be her, which I find funny because I've been on Doechii since she had a viral TikTok song. And no shade to Alligator Bites, for lack of a better way of putting it, I liked really gay Doechii. You know what I'm saying? I liked like house music, like, what is it? Not Vogue. It's not called Vogue. Oh, they're gonna be mad at me for that. What the fuck is that?
Ballroom?
Ballroom. I like ballroom tease Doechii, right? And so when Alligator Bites came out, I was like, this is cool. But the response she got, I was like, wow. She kind of had to show the culture that she could. That's what boom bap was about. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like, look, I can do this too.
Yes.
All right, you happy now? Here.
Yep.
And so it'd be interesting. So that's just when you said that about Rhapsody, who I think also is there, but I'm like Doechii has like penetrated a different level
Agreed.
almost instantly.
Agreed.
I do wonder how her arc will go because she's also not in the rap girlies conversation. She's making music with some of them, but she's kind of like all of a sudden transcended out of them. Maybe because she's on what's the label?
TDE.
You know, and that kind of shifted the conversation around it. I don't know. I just
I was going
that.
Well, two things I wanted to add to that is one, as long as the same people that were in power are still in power, exchange the artist, exchange the gender. If they're still going to operate business the way that they will, it's just a matter of time. I know right now it looks a certain way, but we had certain conversations about at one point in time, I'm sure in the 90s, that rappers don't die because of rap beef. And then it happened. And I'm not saying that to say like that's something that you have to look out for with the artist. I'm saying that when you create an environment that is not meant for you to win in, that it benefits from it being volatile. It benefits from it being confrontational, because look at all the content that gets made from that. Look at all the reaction content that gets made from it. Look at how that drives sales. We just saw one of the biggest battles of all time in hip hop, and the way it drove, I'm sure, income in a few different departments involved in hip hop. So when I look at that, I'm like, the same people are in control. It's just a matter of time before somebody finds somebody willing to one up the last body. And then now we're having a conversation about that. That's one thing. The second perspective I wanted to give is, as a male rapper myself, here's something I saw that was really interesting, because you're right. The ladies are killing it right now. And they're killing it in ways that are like more, to me, they're more attached to the traditional fundamentals and foundation of hip hop. And there were artists at one point, there were a lot of male artists who were like, that's what we came up to. Right. And there's, when Tyler talks about it, there was an era in the early 2000s where people did not sound like each other. T.I. did not sound like what was coming out of Rockefeller. Like there was all these different artists who stood on their own uniqueness. But there was a point in time, there was a shift. I'm not going to say who I blame for the shift, but there was a shift where if you were a rapper who could not sing,
who could it
be? starts to narrow your trajectory. If you're not a rapper that can get an R&B singer, it starts to narrow. And so I thought it got more and more narrow to the point where the artist started to evolve because of how narrow it was, and just became as wacky as they could be, as left field as they could be. And then you get some of these tiny voice rappers, I said that last time. You get some of the tiny voice rappers who are also pushing the limits of whatever that is to the point where they don't even want to be called a rapper. I'm a rock star. To me, it's like this is where the business was shifting things towards. And now what you have is a changing of the guard where now obviously women are killing it. They're in this space. And you have male artists that seem like they don't have a passion for these fundamentals. But I feel like you got to trace that, because at one point, I remember me as an artist having this conversation of, what is my voice in this time period? What am I going to say? How do I translate that to adjust to be modern with the times? And what you're seeing right now are the artists that are winning. Tyler, the Creator, is winning because he stuck to his guns. When you listen to the production of Chromacopia, there's still a whole lot of, you can give the Neptunes a lot of credit for that. Obviously, he talks about that in Pharrell, but that sound, he's one of the one consistent artists that have stayed in their bag and their sound. It's evolved, but it's still that sound. And that's so unheard of in this point in time. But I look at it and I'm like, yeah, of course he's winning. He's left field in terms of what you expect from a male artist, especially from the West Coast. And then also, too, he has his own branding and strong branding. So I look at that and I'm like, so much of that feels like it was by design, because there's so many artists out here to this day who are like, they're excited to see all these lyricists now get celebrated because they're like, my time is now. But they've been out here, and I think that as long as the people who are in power continue to be in power, if you allow them to be the ones that dictate what's on your TV, it's going to always be what they want it to be.
So I think I made a little noise. I apologize. I wanted to find something that maybe this is a super obscure CD. The Disposable Heroes of Hypocrisy. This is from 1992. Very preachy. It's not actually that enjoyable. It's kind of like Dead Kennedys of hip hop. But like all the way back in 92, they were calling themselves the Disposable Heroes of Hypocrisy. And I think that's the thing we're all circling around, is that these artists are being treated, they felt disposable back in 1992, before Tupac, before Biggie. They already understood, like Curtis was saying, these people who are in charge and who are putting them out there don't see them as human beings. They just see them as a paycheck. And then we sort of keep seeing it get worse and worse, I guess maybe as there's less and less money, or the money is quicker. And each of these artists who doesn't hone their craft, they're just more and more disposable. And it used to be that female rappers were disposable because the second that they reached a certain age, they didn't fit a certain look and you just couldn't be there anymore. And now that's just not the case. We've, I think, evolved as a society. I don't know. That's a hopeful thing to say a week before the election. Now we care about women.
No, women are stubborn. That's what happened, Professor Sky. Women are stubborn.
Yeah.
Justin Hunte is here, it's all happening. Justin Hunte is here, it's all happening. The mathematical breakdown of this mighty game of rap we in. It's boom bapping. Systematical culture views us radical, it's all happening. Shaking hands and dapping it. Life through the lens of hip hop, from trip hop to yes, y'all, you don't stop, you don't stop. Justin Hunte is here, it's all happening. It's all happening, yes, it's all happening. Justin Hunte is here, it's all happening. It's all happening, yes, it's all happening.